Good day, dear colleagues. My name is Irina Shubina. I work as Electronic Resource Coordinator at the library named after Maksut Narikbayev of KAZGUU University. The theme of my presentation is Book Donation, Ideas to Enrich Your Collection and Community. I have worked in different types of library, and I know for sure the main diamond of every library is its stock. Librarians always were glad to develop library collection. There are different channels of collection development, state programs, university fund, gift from foreign embassies, etc. One day, I have asked myself what I personally can do for my library, for university community, to help professors and students to do their research. I tried to find some internet resources which are linked to that. This was really the beginning of those achievements in the sphere of book donation, as I explored the planet of the different kind given to the library and studied all different library policies that were new and useful for the library community. Mission of every library is power literate, informed, and knowledgeable society. Librarians have a special need for documentation, sources, and information services because scientists are eager to have an access to international publications. Librarians rarely have enough money to subscribe to journals and to buy books. So libraries, in order to enrich their fund and to find their ways to develop library collection free of charge, have to find the new ways of collection development. UNESCO, American Library Association, and other international organizations has been working in this area and have very great programs in the areas of higher education, book promotion, and book donation. These programs include information how to donate books to needy libraries, and there are resources for those seeking donation. It is a fact that most of the important books needed in Kazakhstan University for education and economic growth are printed abroad. Even despite the existence of the Kazakhstani project, New Humanitarian Knowledge, 100 new textbooks in Kazakh language. Even when books are imported and brought by retailers to the bookstores, they are often so expensive that even libraries, not only the ordinary students, are not able to purchase them. If knowledge is indeed power, then donated very good books will ultimately give Kazakhstani students access to good information, which will help Kazakhstani resources and students to develop very good science for the development and growth of the economics and culture in Kazakhstan. Libraries have to be very active in order to find the new ways to develop collections and to support scientists and students. It is important to have new strategies to obtain new sources of financial support through book donation, grants, etc. In order to increase the value of the library, the staff of Maksut Narikbayev Library, KAZGUU University, started to find additional ways to develop library's collection. The library employees started book donation company, and as a result, the library got more than 400 books, and students may work with them doing their researches and in everyday class preparation activities. These are big numbers, but the library staff focus always has been on quality rather than quantity. Since inception, the book donation has been renowned for two key operating principles: accepting only useful and appropriate materials from donation organizations and making those materials available for users, title by title. Aside from the obvious academic, educational, and professional benefits derived from the books that international organization shipped, access to them has also had the effect of assisting with democratization, strengthening market economies, fostering civil society, and reinforcing the rule of law. And today we will speak about book donation management. Book donation means managing your act carefully with concern for the interest your patrons and well-being of the library. Putting this into practice is the art of book donation management. Acquainted with the donors' organization, identifying and managing issues and impact, and tailoring in positive outcomes are the main points of successful book donation strategies. The purpose should be that you are using such programs for good. So, book donation management, we will consider 4 questions: identifying issues, book donation policy, experience of Maksut Narikbayev KAZGUU University Library, and measurement, reporting, and recognition. Identifying issues. Make a thorough analysis of book donation performance in order to identify issues and opportunities for improvement, positive and negative, risks and opportunities, challenges or barriers for improvement, legalities and rules that may impact on plan, sponsors' needs and expectation, what you are already doing well. Barriers and challenges could be like this. For example, we as librarians have written 50 letters to donors organization, and not all of them replied to us. So even in this case, librarians have to continue their work, and finally the result will be successful. One more barrier is customs rules. It's very important for librarians to study the customs rules in their own country and to be sure that when you get book donation abroad, everything will go smoothly. The second challenge could be there are one article in internet, and it is written that many African libraries get book donation with not relevant literature, and in this case people send not appropriate literature to the libraries, and they spend money, time, and many resources, and no outcomes at all. So the librarians should be very careful and to determine all conditions before they get book donation. Book donation policy. The staff of the library, named after Maksut Narikbayev, started to explore with university libraries have special book donation program. And all leading university libraries have their own policy statement which regulates the process of book donation. For example, Stanford University libraries, Duke University libraries, Yale University's libraries, Princeton University Library, etc. These guides were studied carefully and as a conclusion by the library staff was made. Only those gifts can be accepted which support the university teaching and research or add core materials or scholarly research interest. The staff of the library wrote unofficial letters to different agencies with the request to donate books for the library. In this way could be success and failure, but librarians have to continue to do this work because finally the library collection will be enriched. The staff should know who are the potential big donors in the community or even in the world, how and when to ask, what will make people give to the library. The staff should also thank donors in innovative ways that will make them want to give more. Donors give when they believe in an organization's missions and in its leader. Before librarians do the asking, they should learn more about the foundation they plan to approach and to familiarize themselves with the largest organization that accept and donate books and other items. Among them could be like Better World Books, Book Donors, Books Abroad, Natural History Book Service, Oxford Bookshop, etc. The library, named after Maksud Narikbayev of KAZGUU University, has 5 successful projects of book donation. The first is the gift from House of Russian Abroad, named after Alexander Solzhenitsyn. It was in November 2017. We have bought approximately 300 books. The second successful project was in 2018. We have got 110 books from Interstate Fund for Humanitarian Cooperation of the Commonwealth Independent State in June 2018. 2 times we have got book donation from American volunteer organization Darien Books Aid Plan, and last year in November, Embassy of Swedish in the Republic of Kazakhstan presented us 20 books. And I would like to underline that all gifts are valuable. The gifts consisted of classical and modern literature works, books on Russian history and culture, dictionaries, manuals on Russian language and other professional publications, also albums of Russian and Western European artists, theological works, and the books donated by American organization were in English. It was books in economic spheres, and for us it's very important because our students studied in English and textbooks are very expensive, and we are so thankful to Darien Books Aid Plan American organization, which 2 times donated us textbooks on economics to support educational process of Higher School of Economics. You can see some photos from the book holidays when the representatives of House of Russian abroad named after Alexander Solzhenitsyn presented us books. It was really book holiday with a theater and students prepared a very interesting show, and we all enjoyed of this show. During Book 8 plan, this organization finally asks us to send them the report, photo report, how students use their books. And of course, we follow all the rules which donors organization have. Embassy of Swedish in the Republic of Kazakhstan presented us 20 books last year. To gauge the effectiveness of book donation program, you will need to measure how you went, evaluate the process and outcomes, and set plans for improvement.
Hello everyone. Before I start, let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Gunel Hajiyeva. I'm a PhD candidate on Library and Information Studies at Azerbaijan National Academy of Science Institute of Manuscript, named after Muhammad Fuzuli, and librarian at Baku Higher School Library. The name of my presentation is The Role of Academic Libraries in the Formation of Information Resources in the Field of Architecture and Construction in Azerbaijan. The presentation consists of these parts: introduction, academic libraries of Azerbaijan, classification of information resources on architecture and construction science in Azerbaijan, and conclusion. In introduction, I want to give some information about formation of information resources on architecture and construction field. The rapid development of the construction sector in the Republic of Azerbaijan, the adoption of state programs on architecture and construction, and the inclusion of provision in these programs, as well as the implementation of extensive construction and design work by international companies, influence construction cooperation in this country. As a result, the formation of a system of basic higher and secondary special education in the field of construction, the document information resources in the field of construction related to this field are increasing. In this regard, the role of academic libraries is very important. Azerbaijan has established a powerful architectural school that combines the synthesis of national features with the world's leading tradition of architecture. So now I want to speak about academic libraries of Azerbaijan. The work on the creation and use of bibliographic databases in Azerbaijan attracts the attention of high school libraries. Thus, since 1999, the work on creation of electronic catalogs in the scientific libraries of Baku State University, ADA, Azerbaijan Diplomatic Academy University Library, KAZGUU University, Azerbaijan University of Architecture and Construction has been carried out. The activities of the Central Scientific Library of the National Academy of Science of Azerbaijan is in the direction of enrichment of library and information resources on architecture and are of particular importance. And I want to point that in this picture I want to show the Baku State University. The other university library, I put some pictures of this library. It's the most modern library in Azerbaijan, which has a state-of-art technology infrastructure. The library operates one of the bases of the standards of the Library of Congress and the American Library Association. The collection of the library consists of more than 44,000 resources in English, Azerbaijani, and Russian language. Readers use more than 100,000 ebooks and various full-text scientific periodicals. Next, KAZGUU University Library Information Center, as the intellectual heart of the university community, provides quality support for teaching, learning, and researching with their staff, collection, programs, spaces, and services. The Library of Azerbaijan University of Architecture and Construction, created in 1977, it's the largest specialized institution in the library information support system for architects in Azerbaijan. The library has established its activities at the level of modern requirements. The main task of the library is to promptly meet the information needs of university students through traditional and electronic libraries and provide them with comprehensive information. The Central Scientific Library is a custodian of rich scientific literature and excellent documentary fund on architecture, a source of development of scientific thoughts, as well as an integral part of the infrastructure of architectural science. Then I want to speak about classification of information resources on architecture and construction science in Azerbaijan. Thanks to research, it become clear that the architecture of Azerbaijan can be classified into the following types. First, studies devoted to the history of Azerbaijan architecture. The main purpose of this works is to thoroughly study and evaluate the past architectural heritage to identify the future ways of its development based on the progressive tradition of Azerbaijan architecture. Second, scientific critical works on the problems of creativity in architectural art in Azerbaijan. Books devoted to the theoretical problems of architecture in Azerbaijan make up the majority of the documents in architecture field, including critical works of deep scientific research to assist in development of the architecture of the relevant period, analyzing and detailing the main creative issues of modern architecture, public content, form, crafts, and styles issues in architectural creativity publication covering problems. Third, monographs or separate representatives of Azerbaijan architecture. In this type of material, depending on the personality, position, and role of the art in the history of work, the main direction of its period, life, and creativity, the scientific heritage as a stage of development of its creativity are summarized. And the last one, information documents. Documents that are informative in nature include scientific, math, and factual data in relation to one or the other sciences, fields of knowledge, and persons such as encyclopedias, dictionaries, and reference books, and etc. And also location of library and information resources on architecture in Azerbaijan is one of the important factors for the organization of scientific research in the field of architecture and bibliographic research in this field. Scientific research activity on architecture in our republic is organized on the basis of sectoral administrative division, and based on this division the following components can be distinguished. institutions and structural units within the State Committee for Urban Planning and Architecture, Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and Ministry of Emergency Situation engaged in architectural research. Institute of Architecture and Art of the Azerbaijan National Academy of Science. Next, architectural departments, faculties operating in public and private higher education institutions of Azerbaijan. And the last one, institution and structural units engaged in architectural research in architectural non-governmental organization and private research institution, also at production enterprises, etc. In conclusion, I want to say that to integrate document information resources in the field of architecture and construction in Azerbaijan into the world information resources and to meet world standards and modern requirements, it is expedient to address the following issues. First, creation of a constantly updated electronic version of the bibliographic index to be complied. Second, inclusion of permanent information from all regions of the Republic in electronic resources and their use for general readers. Third, application of bibliometry. And the last one, to establish a staff of highly qualified librarians and field specialists to implement the above. At present, the use of modern information communication technologies creates endless opportunities for the socialization of individual knowledge and the formation of collective thinking, forming a society based on knowledge and information. From this point of view, enrichment and systematization of document information resources in the field of architecture and construction in our republic is one of the important conditions of modern times. The research provides information about the fund and activities of academic libraries, so it can be useful for researchers in the field of architecture and construction, experts in the field, other groups of readers interested in the field, as well as those working in the field of librarianship, bibliography and information, and in general dealing with library fundraising, documentation and information management. So I have finished my presentation. I would be happy if you have any question. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Dear Comrades community, colleagues, I'm greeting you from Baku. My name is Khayala Hajiyeva. I'm PhD candidate at the National Academy of Sciences of Azerbaijan. I'm also a technical service librarian at KAZGUU University Library. I'm going to share you my research dedicated to Azerbaijan bibliography called Azerbaijan Bibliography, Modern National Databases on Natural Sciences, their formation, structure, and the usage role in the Azerbaijan's library and bibliography practice. The purpose of the paper is to clarify global bibliographic databases on natural sciences, the investigation of the methodological structure and the usage issues of such kind of databases in the Azerbaijan and in the world. The research examines two areas: National Bibliography of Azerbaijan and modern library databases, their benefits, structure, methodology, and data modeling and information sources on the national sites of Azerbaijan. Study methods of research. Observation, data analysis, and interview methods are mainly used for the learning of scientific research. The changes have been taken place on bibliography and librarianship over the years are included. Innovations in the librarianship and bibliography field have been observed in the country libraries on the years, and development trends changes have been recorded. Year by year, they are observed and increased in the number of literacy on natural sciences in the country. There was a need to create new databases on bibliography databases. Bibliography database dedicated to national sciences were formed in National Library and as well as the President Library of Azerbaijan. New personal and universal traditional bibliography guides were created. All records were improved and replaced with modern electronic databases, and national corporations on bibliography were established. Subscription to the international databases were implemented. State policy on bibliography. From the beginning of the 16th years, several kinds of state standards were created and have been applied in the country libraries. Standard called Description of Printed Work of Bibliography and Information Publications. Standard Bibliography Description on Printed Work. Bibliography Record and title of the description, general requirement and completion procedure. Also, standard called Bibliography Writing and Bibliography Description. Standards dedicated to the library and bibliography work have been adopted and used by the different libraries of Azerbaijan in different periods. The role of the government in the library and bibliography work had a great importance in Azerbaijan. Thus, the country's libraries implement of their principles of work based on decisions, orders, replace programs adopted by the state. Also, an important legislative documents adopted by the state during the independence years are following. The law of the Republic of Azerbaijan on culture, the law of Azerbaijan Republic on information formalization and procedures, and also different kind of orders dedicated to the improvement of Azerbaijan librarianship and bibliography science. In this slide, you can see a review of the bibliography activity of Azerbaijan libraries. Here are shown the different pictures of the Azerbaijan libraries, as well as the public and the academic libraries of Azerbaijan. Bibliography bibliography workflow of public and academic libraries in the country are very different. The large developed library of Azerbaijan divided into two directions according to purpose and directions of the users, public libraries and academic libraries. There are more than 2,000 public libraries and about 16 academic libraries operating in general in Azerbaijan. The workflow of them are very different. Bibliography departments of the public libraries are operating in following directions: preparation of the print materials, formation of local personnel and typical simple electronic databases, controlization of the usage of traditional catalog systems, creation of modern electronic catalog systems, meeting the user requires and help them for search, implementation of subscription to the international electronic databases and support their usage. The work of the principals of academic libraries are following. Answer their user requires, teaching information literacy lessons, assist in the searching on databases, answering their requests, reference collection, exploring new databases, and so on. Bibliography records reflect in the workflow operation of public libraries in following forms: in traditional catalogs, in local databases, traditional bibliographic guides. The type of bibliography sources are differences as follows: bibliography lists, guides, summaries, and catalogs. Preparation of all bibliography works of materials carried out in 3 stages: preparatory, foundation, and final. Here are some samples of bibliographic guides dedicated to natural sciences. The following types of databases are differentiated: bibliography databases, bibliography index databases, full-text journal databases, full-text book databases, statistical databases, open access databases. Following advantage differentiate bibliography on natural sciences from traditional bibliography sources, make thousands of information sources available at the same time, eliminate the loss of time, eliminate the distance problem, helps narrow and expand the search on various aspects, allows the search and get results wherever network is available. Generally, creating full-text database on natural sciences requires a teamwork IT specialists, librarians, and specialists of natural sciences, formation of the type and carried out in 2 stages: logical design stage, physical design stage. The following processes are applied in the logic stage: defining of the topic, the consideration of user interests, generation of usage and statistic reports, identification of search elements, and so on. Physical design stage covers the following process: physical formation of databases, solution of technical problems, providing access, usage opportunity, creating user interface, provision of appropriate support programs in need, investigation probability with with reference management tool. Local databases of Azerbaijan. In the recent years, the practice of creating simple electronic databases has become prospered in the Azerbaijan bibliography. These databases can also be considered as a more improved electronic versions of bibliography databases. The National Library of Azerbaijan has created such a database under the name of electronic database. This database is mostly dedicated to the outstanding personalities of Azerbaijan country. The electronic database dedicated to the 170th anniversary of Hasan Bey Zardabi, the first naturalist scientist of the Islamic world, can be mentioned as an example of the database on natural sciences that created by the National Library of Azerbaijan. The life and activity of the scientists are grouped within the sections as all information about him placed with these sections. Another project related to the bibliography on national sciences is the Azerbaijan Ecology project of the Presidential Library. Also, there are certain databases in the field of natural sciences in Azerbaijan library practice. There are very simple structures, capabilities according to the requirement of the time. There are need to improve them. And existing databases create new perfect databases on natural sciences. The following methods are necessary for the development of this field: organization of improvement and new teaching learning methods of higher education in field of the librarianship. Adopting on the librarianship subject and requirements of the time in the librarianship and formation of the faculties, universities, exclusion on all non-library subjects from curriculum, and so on. All leading library specialists of the country, as well as the specialists in the field of information and informatization, should strive for the development of this accordance with the modern requirements, and the importance of the development of this area is already becoming a necessity based on the user demand. Thank you for listening.